Disclaimer, buckle up. This episode of Three Friends and All the Things is packed with foul language, inappropriate comments, and even some streaking. If that's your jam, then welcome to the circus. Let the shenanigans begin.
Hello, you want old Chinese?
Oh, poo-poo platter for two. Two spring roll, two chicken wings, two rib, bone-in rib, two shrimp toast, two beaver steak, and two, I said the spring roll.
You said two spring roll.
No, poo-poo platter for two of everything. Spring roll, chicken wing, beaver steak. What else?
So you want
fried shrimp.
two poo-poo platter?
No, two poo-poo platter for two. No two platter. Poo-poo platter for two. So shrimp rolls, two. Chicken wings,
Two chicken wings. Two chicken wings.
See, yeah.
Two spring roll?
Yeah.
What else?
Two ribs, bone in.
Two ribs.
Bone in.
Okay.
Two chicken wings,
Two chicken wings.
two beef steak,
Two beef steak.
two shrimp toast,
Oh.
a soy sauce, spicy masa,
No pork fried rice?
65 rice, chopstick for four. Little family, little meals.
Okay, 15 minutes.
You know pick up.
You want delivery?
No, I pick up. You know pick up.
I know pick up.
You know all the pick up. You deliver, no deliver. It's extra money for you deliver.
No.
Oh, free.
Free delivery.
Oh, free General Soul chicken too. You know that you say you order more than $40, a free General Soul chicken. It's seen on your menu. Maybe two poo-poo platter, free chicken. Free delivery.
You want everything free.
Free. And you know it's for free, it's for me.
You paying the ass.
You mean bitch.
You go somewhere else.
You mean bitch and no Chinese.
No.
No Chinese. Pizza now. Honey, these Chinese women are
Somewhere else. I know where your business.
She piece of shit.
No.
She piece of shit.
No, I hang up.
You know hang up with me. I hang up with you.
No.
Here's the bloody intro. Welcome to Three Friends and All the Things podcast, where the hosts are just here to make each other laugh. And now, here are Kris, Gia, and Jay. Three Friends and All the Things podcast. Real talk for real people.
Welcome back. Buenos dias, everybody. Welcome to episode cinco. That would be number 5 in Spanish. Welcome to our latest episode of Three Friends and All the Things, where today we're going to talk about everyone's favorite topic, menopause, where hot flashes and cold truths are going to be revealed. How are you guys?
We're good. I feel like I have so much to learn in this episode that I'm just leading the charge for men everywhere.
Yeah, I think so too.
Leading the charge for men everywhere. Well, I'm pretty good.
I'm pretty interested to see
but I do have an update.
What Jay's take on all of this is going to be. Yeah, what's your update?
It's going to be fun, but yeah, G's got a great update.
Okay.
Just going off of Jay's story last week. Scott and I were at a light over the weekend. Red light, sitting there waiting, and there was a person in a wheelchair in the middle of the road. Just sitting there, and I'm looking. I'm like, oh, this guy in the middle of the road in the wheelchair. Like, is he trying to cross the road? What is he doing? And I'm going, oh my God, does he have one leg? He has one leg. Scott, he has one leg. He's like, I don't know. I can't see. I said, I think he has one leg. And then he turned in the wheelchair, and it was the man that Jay saw last week in the wheelchair. or person. I don't, because I think Jay thought maybe it was a woman. So
Yeah, I thought it was a
what are
woman,
the
so
odds?
You saw the
it was good to
one-legged
find out.
person. Oh my God. That's amazing.
I
One-legged
did.
warrior.
And I just thought it was so funny because it was like, what, 3 or 4
That's
days
amazing.
later. And here we are.
I'm a bit jealous. I gotta
Also, I
say,
just want
I'm
you
a
to
bit
know
jealous
that
I missed this.
this also happened just now. So maybe we could go like this. What do you think? Is everyone okay if I just shoop shoop?
Yeah. As the train goes by.
As the train
we
goes
all
by,
heard
yeah.
We love
That's
the train.
awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the one-legged guy, one-legged warrior. That's awesome. I'm glad. So, what are you guys going to teach me today about crime scene? I mean, menopause and women.
I think the one-legged
Now listen
warrior ended
here.
up with. I think the one-legged warrior ended up with one leg because he probably pissed off his wife while she was in menopause, and you could end up that way, Jay. I mean, it's a possibility. Just saying.
That's why I really haven't been sleeping well because I have fear.
I tell you what, Jay's a little too close to me, so I could really reach out and touch somebody if he pisses me off during this. So you better watch his mouth. Or you guys might see him fall right out of his chair.
You're going to be surprised. I'm going to ask very intelligent guy questions.
Or
well,
you might see me just jump across the bar, and then you'll catch me on his screen pushing him right off the chair.
Yeah,
okay, let's tone down the violence. Let's not promote violence on our podcast.
Well, actually, the first sign of menopause is violence.
It's the menopause.
Yeah, it's the menopause.
Okay, you just need to stop talking right now.
I am.
Notice it starts with
What
men.
I've learned.
So
Just saying, just throwing that out there.
Right.
All right. Give me some facts. Why does this happen?
Well, first of all, I think this is something that Kristen and I really wanted to talk about. And I think that one of the reasons that we wanted to talk about it so badly is because no one talks about it. No one tells you what your body is going to go through. They just go, oh, yeah, that's menopause. Kris?
Yeah.
I know you have a slew of information and I have a slew of information.
It's it's something that just comes on and you're not really sure what's happening. You know, you go and try and figure it out. You're like, oh, night sweats, whatever, not to be disgusting, but women are not getting their periods as often as they were. You're gaining weight unexpectedly. You go through all these things. Your emotions are like all out of whack. Your hormones are all over the place. You get mad about the dumbest thing. I mean, literally, it could be for me, it is somebody's voice, or if the lights are too bright, or if there's too much noise around me, if it's someone's clicking jaw, or something. And it could be anything. It could be the way my shirt feels on my skin, and it's just enough to make you go. And let's not forget chewing, listening to someone chew like a cow, but it's enough to make you go from 0 to 100 on the anger level. It's like 0 to prison. That is, and just like that. And there's no explanation. You might cry. You might get angry. It's just, you're just all over the place and you don't really know what's going on. And the minute you go to the doctor, oh, it's menopause. Oh, it's premenopause. What do I do about the weight gain? Oh, here's some pills. Take that. No, we're not doing that. So, I mean, it's a mess, and I feel bad for,
so actually,
not only the women that go through it, but I feel bad for the men who have to put up with us.
Me too.
So, Kris, all good, valid points. Something that I think Kris and I need to really stress here is that we said menopause. It's perimenopause. We keep saying that we're going through it, but I guess technically it's perimenopause that we're all in, that is in our age group. But for anyone that's younger and listening, it starts as young as 35 years old. And what actually happens is that your brain kind of starts to speak to your body in a little bit of a different way. And a lot of women don't even understand what's happening or even really notice the changes that are actually going on, right? So by the time 10 years later you get to 45, so somewhere between 45 and 55, that's when everything really kind of starts to shift. And anyone that's in that bracket right now, I feel like they would really open up their mouth and or nod their head and agree, right? So for you, Kris, when did you really start to notice things? Like for me, it was a little bit younger, but that's just something that runs in my family.
I think it started when I was like sweating at night. I'd go to bed. I would wake up in the middle of the night, and when I tell you drenched,
How old were you?
soaking wet. I would say within the last like 5 years this happened. I'm 51, so what, 46? And it wasn't all the time. It was just
45,
random. And I'm like, well,
46?
maybe the
Wait.
house was, yeah. And I thought, well, maybe the house is just too hot, or maybe I had too many clothes on, or maybe the blanket's too heavy or whatever. But then it didn't happen consistently. And okay. But I mean, I'm talking soaking wet to the point I had to get up. I had to change the sheets on the bed. I had to take a shower. I had to throw my clothes in the laundry. Like, what you would have thought I just jumped out of the shower fully clothed. I was absolutely soaked, and it was disgusting. So that's what started it. And then I noticed the unexplained weight gain, and I'm like, why? I'm exercising. Why is this weight not coming off? I'm trying to eat well, and all I'm doing is gaining. And I'm not talking muscle. I'm just weight gained. I'm just gaining, and the numbers on the scale are going up and up and up. And then I noticed it was affecting my mental health, my motivation to do anything. It ties into a whole bunch of other things that, and sometimes women don't understand that this is what they're going through, or maybe they don't want to admit to themselves, this is what I'm going through. Oh yeah, guess what? We're there. We've reached that age now.
I feel like women do that though because it's also a way that they lose their youth, if that makes any sense. So I feel like they kind of hold on to it and keep quiet
Of
and want to fight it.
course.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
but I think it's good that when they admit it, but I think it's also kind of crazy because, you guys hit this at 14, 13, 12 years old, something like that, where you get your period and, that's traumatizing the first time that happens, So I have to sit back and wonder, like, when this starts to happen, how many women feel like they're losing their womanhood, or it's almost like re-traumatizing. I don't know. I that's a question I
It
pose to you
is.
guys as it's happening.
Yeah. How do you feel about that, G?
It is like that. I think that it is like that. They always say like men go through a midlife crisis. But really, I think that when we go through this, I think that is, our midlife crisis as women. But I think that you're right, Jay, where you almost do feel like your youth is being taken from you. But and there's times where you feel mad, and like you said, Kris, and you cry. And so in all of the research that Kris and I have done, and we've done our research separately, but you'll find that it all adds up to be basically the same thing. There are symptoms that we don't even realize are part of it, but now it's becoming open discussion, right? You see it now on social media, and we're seeing reels and memes because people are actually starting to talk about it. But these things that start happening are, the brain fog. Well, brain fog, I'm running around going, my God, do I have early onset dementia? Because there's things that are just happening and your body starts to hurt. There are days where I wake up and Scott's like, are you all right? I'm like, I feel 50. My joints hurt. And then the next day I'll feel fine, but, and like you said, it's the weight gain. Your skin gets dry. I have a whole thing. There's actually a study that's been done specifically for menopause or perimenopause where you get hip pain. I have more hip pain than you could possibly imagine, to the point where I start limping.
So do I. Do I have menopause?
You might.
Yeah. Okay, Jay.
I'm just asking for a friend. I mean, it could be. I mean,
maybe
but do you
it's
think there's
sympathy pain.
a scientific, maybe it's like, help me, save me.
Yes.
But do you think that guys go through some type of chemical change where they have, like their own type of menopause?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
they do.
absolutely.
They do. When they start to lose they actually start to lose testosterone. Some men don't, most men do. And when that hormone in men, a loss of testosterone can create hair loss and a bunch of other things. Look, I didn't research, low T in men and the symptoms. Jay, you don't seem to have the balding issue, I guess, is what you're saying to us right now. But yes, they do. And I think when men hit that stage, that's that midlife where they say they run out and buy a new car, a convertible or whatever. But, for women, when we start to drop that estrogen, it all of the symptoms that we go through are because of that loss of estrogen. We get itchy skin. Some women feel like bugs are crawling. Some women have burning tongue. Could you imagine if your tongue was burning all the time? Oh my God. Itchy ears. I have itchy
That's a
ears. Did
thing?
you notice itchy
Really?
ears, Kris, or anything? Vertigo.
I had, yeah.
Just sounds like allergies.
I
Chris,
get
my
itchy
ears
ears,
itch.
like yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I have it too. I get,
It's also
like,
allergies, but
give me a Q-tip. Oh,
Can I
yeah.
just back up for a second?
Yeah.
Since I have both of you for a second.
Mhm.
So, in my experience, someone who just has like premenopause and then they just stop having their period for like 3 months and then it comes back like a mass murder just
Mhm.
happened.
Mhm.
What what goes on with the hormones?
Mm.
Is it like all built up and then it's just
Uh,
anger? And I
no.
don't know. Like I would feel like I was
Well,
going insane.
just so you know, when a woman gets her period, it is not her leaking anger. Okay. So let's just get that right
Is
off the
it?
bat. She's not leaking anger. Okay.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive. I don't know
Okay.
why. I do have girlfriends who they'll go a year without their period. They'll go months, and all of a sudden, boom, it just appears out of nowhere. They think they're done because they're going through this as well. They think it's a done deal, no longer, and then out of nowhere. And the worst part is you're usually unprepared when it happens because you just don't know when it's coming.
Right.
You don't know.
Right.
So, I know for me, the other thing in regard to night sweats is trouble sleeping. I would be incredibly tired. I'd go to bed, 8 o'clock, whatever. I would sleep, and then like clockwork, anywhere between 12 and 3, I'd be wide awake. And this is how I end up buying stupid crap like an $1,000 big giant $1,000 bean bag by accident because I am awake and that's a story for another time. I am awake and I am scrolling and I'm like, I'm trying to go back to sleep and I'm bored and I can't. And, and then you go back to sleep, but then the alarm goes off and you wake up even more tired. Then you're irritable. And then the other thing was I'd go to work and this is going to be a total contradictory statement, but I would go to work, I come home and I'm like, all I want to do is lay down on my couch. I would lay down at 3:30, 4 o'clock, whenever it was I got home. I would sleep until 7. I'd wake up, I'd have something to eat. And then I'm like, I'm tired. I'm going back to bed. So I'd go back to bed. And then 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, after a couple days of that happening, I'm like, all right, I got to stop taking these long naps. But then it was like a chronic thing. And all I did was sleep. It was like, oh, it was just, who's that guy? Who was the guy that fell asleep for like 1,000 years under the tree? That fairy tale guy, whatever his name was. That's who I turned into. Oh, not Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin.
It wasn't Rumpelstiltskin.
Isn't it?
No.
Who was it?
Anyway, I felt like that guy who slept for like 100 years and missed everything. And I was doing this day in and day out. But no matter how much I slept, I was tired all the time. All the time.
So listen, those night sweats, a lot of women probably don't know where this comes from. So there's something in your brain called your vasal vega. And it's connected into that. We called it the trigeminal nerve, but what do they call it? The vein in your, I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, your vasal vega in your brain is actually, if I understood what I read correctly, actually controls your body temperature, and your estrogen tells your body this is where it needs to be. So your vasal vega and your estrogen work together. Well, when your estrogen plummets, your vasal vega goes, whoop, 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 whoop. We got to keep it warm, keep the body warm, keep the body warm, warm. Next thing you know, you're sweating and you're putting your head in the freezer, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And the flip side to that is that when it's done, and for some women, they say it can last 2 minutes all the way up to a half an hour or something. And then the flip side to that is that then your teeth chattering cold. So, Kris, when you would get those hot flashes and you would wake up in the night sweats, then you're right, teeth chattering cold. I know it's the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah.
But that's your body,
Yeah.
your vasal vega is going, oh, okay, we can come down now. But your estrogen's going like this. So your body can't regulate, and that's what happens. And that also apparently has something to do with the insomnia as well.
Right. The other night I went to bed with, a long sleeve shirt, a sweatshirt, fleece lined leggings, socks. I was freezing, got into bed, had 3 blankets on, and I laid there shivering. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? And I felt fine. What is wrong with me? And then I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I'm like trying to be like the Incredible Hulk, trying to rip this stuff off me because I'm so hot. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? It's menopause.
Right.
Menopause.
Listen,
Yeah,
I was so diligent with this particular thing.
The Suzanne Vega nasal thing. My name is
Increased
Luca.
sensitivity. Increased sensitivity to core body temperature changes. Estrogen levels drop.
You never see me before. That's perfect for a period. You've never seen me before, like it disappeared. Bye.
Listen,
it's here
you
one day,
idiots.
and it's gone. Luca was upstairs. Now she's not.
Yeah, well,
Suzanne Vega.
Listen,
nasal.
As your estrogen levels drop, your body becomes more sensitive even to minor fluctuations in core temperature. It's a hypersensitivity that triggers your body's cooling mechanism, like sweating and something I can't see because my glasses are broken. Vasovalidation, even when there's no need to actually cool down. So your estrogen is talking and dropping, and then, it'll come back up. So the point of this whole entire freaking conversation is that apparently your hormones are changing as quickly as they did before we actually got our first period at 12, 13, 14 years old. And they're changing that fast. Then we had no idea what was going on. So if we were having a fit, crying, or doing whatever we were doing it. Now we're very self-aware of things and wondering why we're getting adult acne, or women are finding hair on a boob, or whatever the hell they're doing.
Oh, God,
hair in places that they shouldn't.
When you get a hair in the boob and then it gets in your teeth. Wrong episode. I'm not going to go there. Go ahead. Sorry, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
I'm just trying to point out how it's so difficult for men that you guys go through menopause.
When you're ready for me to push him off the chair, let me know. Well, I'll tell you that I the other day, Scott was breathing in bed, and I just, poor guy, I never told him. He doesn't even know, but
he knows.
He knows now.
He knows. Trust me. Yep. He knew
He'll
before
know
that.
when we release this. Well,
Yeah.
I always
When
yell at him for snoring.
Did you know, Kris, Scott sleeps like this the whole time?
Did not.
One eye open.
One eye.
Yep.
I did not. However, with that
he
being
wakes up
said,
to one eye is crusty.
well, I can't blame him.
So
And I don't
dramatic. I'm
blame
not going
you,
to kill anybody
Jay,
in their sleep.
because I would. Just saying. Not that I promote murder. I'm just saying, but sometimes I watch these murder shows, and I think, oh wow, that's an idea. That's a good. Oh, that was a good plan. Oh, but how did she get
Or
away
their
with it?
or
Because
their
I
age
think
range was menopause.
right,
So
and I think, oh, I wonder, maybe if you just didn't leave breadcrumbs, then you wouldn't have gotten caught. Like, what are you thinking, love? Like, come on. You got to be smarter, work smarter, not harder. Like, don't leave things behind. Clean up the DNA, kill anybody.
wow, I feel like you've given this thought, all of you.
So,
Yeah.
well, hold on a minute here. I want to say a couple more things, and then I'm going to get off my soapbox. As our hormones fluctuate.
It's okay, Jaya, because you want to know something? I'm teaching all men in this podcast. All men. Did you see how quiet and reserved I am so far? This is what
Yeah,
you
you're
need to
doing
do.
pretty good.
I'm okay.
You want me to stop talking?
No. So I feel like I'm not talking as much because I'm trying to teach the males out there that as their women are slowly going through menopause and dying inside, that they should just be quiet and not breathe to aggravate them. Is that the best advice going forward for men?
Probably.
He needs to get off this recording. He just needs to go away.
You know,
just
there's
don't breathe
somebody
as
out there
loud.
who's thinking that. All right. I am going to
Just
be
don't
all
breathe as
sensitive.
loud.
This is sensitive Jay now. I'm going to be sensitive Jay now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Listen, just a couple more things, and I'm going to stop talking.
It's okay, Jay. You tell us how it makes you feel.
There was something that Kris said in the very beginning, and how when we go to the doctors as women and we are complaining about our symptoms, and we're just told, oh, it's the menopause. And listen, I don't know how women are, or most people, when they go to the doctor, but I go out of my way to forge a relationship with my providers. And if they are not willing to forge a relationship with me, then I will move on and find another provider. I am fortunate enough to have really great relationships with actually all of my doctors. However, the GYN that I have, she is absolutely amazing. And I think that she understands that I'm educated in a lot of different areas that not educated, but I educate myself, to put it that way. And so she'll sit there and she'll tell me things, but she doesn't even go into depth like I would like her to. But there are certain things that I feel like, Kris, women need to know, because our hormones are going up and down so much. Like our hormones amplify stress and how our body reacts to stress. And there's certain levels of a protein that also rise during perimenopause, but then after that 12-month period, when you don't have a period and then you're actually in menopause, they drop. So, you're up and you're down, but these things create the hormones back and forth, and our bodies going through all of this, I think really it makes women sometimes want to withdraw socially, and less tolerant of everything. And I think, women get depressed, and actually statistically up to 20 to 30% of women experience significant depression symptoms during perimenopause, and then the transitional phase before menopause. And there's a major depression is about 2 to 4 times higher during perimenopause. So when we go to the doctor and we explain these things, a lot of doctors are still saying, it's fine, it's just menopause. And some will offer antidepressants, or mild antidepressants. And some women don't want to be on that. And then they find themselves taking this medication that they really don't want to be on. And I think that it's really important that we educate people that the fluctuation of the hormones is that depression or that anxiety that you're starting to feel, and that there's ways to get help and proper ways to go around it, instead of just feeling like you're going mad. You're not going mad. People don't know what to do with themselves.
So I have a question.
And it's true. They don't.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, menopause and even premenstrual, whatever it may be, when you have your period, PMS, all that, when you're going through this, it's more of a your chemicals are out of whack because your hormones are out of whack, correct? So is there like, you know
Correct.
how there's medicine you take for, and I'm not being funny when I say this, but medicine to take for bipolar or chemical imbalance or depression. Is there some type of like menopause pill you guys can take?
There's like hormone replacement therapy that you can do.
Well, that's what we're trying to say.
I mean, I don't
Correct.
really know
Right.
what's involved
But
in
you'll go to the
HRT.
doctor and
But I,
sorry,
you know,
Kris.
yeah. No, go ahead, G.
That's what I'm trying, like the point that I'm actually trying to drive here, Jay, is that people go and they say, I'm depressed, and it's the fluctuation in their hormones, so they just get put on antidepressants. And
Mhm.
it's
And
basically
that's
how we
not
become
fixing
a
the
nation
it's not,
dependent on pills, right?
yeah,
Let's just talk,
right. And
it's
it
correct.
might be,
But
getting put
there
on an
is HRT.
antidepressant might fix one thing. Yeah. Getting put on an antidepressant might fix the depression part, but you have all these other symptoms. So I don't think one pill is going to fix it. But then,
Right.
there's, if you're on antidepressants and you're on, something because you're sore all the time and you're like, oh, I'm like chronically sore all the time, the doctor will put you on some pain medicine, mix that with the antidepressant, mix that with, your hormones being out of whack anyway, mix that with, feeling, you get these feelings, there's emotions involved in it as well, because you feel like you're less of a woman, you don't really know what's going on, you're confused, you're being, I don't want to say completely dismissed, but unless you go to a specialist, most doctors are not, I guess, like really fully trained in how to deal with menopause. So if you just go to a regular GP, that's like saying, oh yeah, you need a cardiologist, just go to your regular doctor and they'll tell you, yeah, your heart's fine. But really, like, you need a specialist, and so a lot of doctors are not fully trained unless they are a specialist. The problem is, specialists are hard to find. Specialists are hard to get into. And side note, it was not Rumpelstiltskin, it was Rip Van Winkle. Thank you very much. That's the guy that slept for
That's the
100
dude,
years. Yeah, that's the dude. And yeah, and also Gia's glasses did not break due to a menopause freak out. They just broke because the screw came out. But I mean, having menopause, it affects you. It affects you in so many different ways and ways that you don't even know. Like I've had meltdowns and I just had no reason behind it. No reason. No, none. Why are you in a bad mood? I don't know. What's wrong with you? I don't know. And you literally have no rhyme or reason as to why this is happening. And you can't explain it because you literally don't know what the hell is going on. You don't know which end is up. You have brain fog. You feel old. A lot of women, they have a problem with getting older. They, they don't want to get older. To me,
Their
it's just
hair
a number,
falls out.
whatever. Their hair fall. Oh my God. Yeah. You could weave wigs and rugs with the hair that I lose in the shower. It's disgusting. It's nasty. It's like, oh
Is
my
that
God.
when you guys lose hair in the shower and then you make a little Picasso art on the shower wall? Is that all because of menopause too?
Okay, adult women don't do that. Okay, please.
Okay.
You're getting closer and closer.
No, so
Closer and closer
So I
for me
have a
knocking you
question.
off the chair.
Okay.
God.
Well, you
Be
just
careful,
stay
Jay.
over
Look
there.
out.
So I have a question. So in my research, because I know very little about vagina things, holistic medicine came up. Have you guys ever looked into that for maybe some benefits on menopause?
I have not.
I've looked into everything. I have done HRT, which is very interesting. And honestly, if somebody wants to talk about that, we could mention that in another podcast and talk about it, because that's another whole situation. But things like vitamin D, your vitamin D drops, and that is part of your hormones, right? So you need to keep that regulated. So the point is, like, and your vitamin B12 as well. When you go to the doctor and you get your blood work by the gynecologist who should be able to run your panel, you will be able to see where your levels are. Here's the thing. I've thus since learned that just because things look like they're in that green range of okay doesn't mean that they are. So I find myself exhausted. We'll get up early. I'll do things, do whatever I'm doing. By 1:00, I could lay down and I could sleep until 6, 7:00 at night. It's
Yeah.
like I
And
literally
Jay, the
run out of
problem is
steam.
like,
And Scott will see me. He's like, "You getting tired?" He's like, "You getting tired on?" I'm like,
Go
yeah,
ahead, Chris.
yeah. Sorry, Jade, I mean, I cannot speak today. I did not mean to interrupt you. I apologize. But like Gia said, you go and you get these tests done, and then, the doctor will say, like, I had a thyroid issue. I thought I had an whichever the one is where you gain the weight, underactive, whatever, over, whatever.
I think
So
it's
I went to the
overactive,
doctor,
right?
right.
and one of them, right? Okay, so I'm like gaining weight. This is
Hyperthyroid.
pre menopause, but I was like, I have this thyroid issue, and and so okay, go do the blood test, blah blah, whatever. So I did, and he comes back, and he said, my doctor says to me, he says, well, you're in the range of normal. Okay, I don't care that I'm in the range of what's deemed normal. There's something wrong. I know myself. There's something wrong. Don't say just because you fall within a
Correct.
range of 1 to
Correct.
10, whatever, that doesn't mean that there's not a problem. It just means that you're in that range. You could be on the low end, the high end, the middle. It doesn't matter. You know yourself. And if you feel deep down that there is something not right, keep digging,
Right.
keep going at them, and until you find what is wrong with you. Because telling me, oh, you're on the range. Hey, people sit there and say, oh, you're in the range of normalcy. No, I am not. We all know this. Okay. We all know this. But I put on a good front, and a lot of people think I'm normal. A lot of people also think I'm nice. You got you guys fooled, don't I? But with that being said, you can't always listen to, just because your doctor's telling you you fall within a certain range. If you honestly think that there's something wrong, you keep investigating it, keep going at it, because you know yourself better than anybody else. And I don't care what a blood test tells you. If you feel that way, don't necessarily listen to a GP who's running these tests. Go find a specialist. Go find a specialist who can be more in depth, because that's why they're called specialists. They can do more tests than what your general practitioner can do.
Yeah, that's all really good information, Chris.
Uh-huh.
Everybody hold their thoughts, because I want to be able to get to our sponsor for this week. And I think it's
Do you suffer from ED? Have no reaction to Viagra? Well, you might be banging an ugly bitch. But don't worry, we are here to help at ditchabitch.com. Try our free 3-day trial. We will send you a brand new bitch, and we do not require you to give us your old one. That's right. Just throw her in the dumpster. Don't hesitate. Visit our website today, www.ditchabitch.com. And remember, it's her, not you.
a good sponsor for this week. So we'll be right back. And we're back. I think as I'm listening to you guys, I think this is very informative, especially for men, because I think men are always on the side where they don't know what to do. And of course, you've got the ones who sit there and go, well, that bitch is just crazy. When in reality, there's some serious things going on. I mean, what would you guys suggest, since you're in the beginning of it, in the thick of it? What would you suggest for guys who have a partner going through that right now?
Be supportive. Be supportive. And there's a lot of levels to that. I mean, it's hard to get yelled at for no reason. I'm not going to lie. Nobody wants that. We just
Right.
need to vent. Instead of just making the assumption like, oh, you're just having a menopause moment. Is there anything that I can do for you? What can I do to make this better? Do you just need to vent? Do you need to talk? Do you need to cry? I know you don't understand what's going on. however you're feeling, the one thing I think men really need to do, no matter what the situation, especially during menopause, however we feel, and this goes both ways, however we feel, our feelings are valid. Even if we don't understand them, our feelings are valid, and we can feel however we want to feel about any given moment, about anything. Because like I said, your temper, your mood swings will go from 0 to prison, and you want to kill somebody, you don't know why, and you're like, I have all this rage, and then as quick as it comes, it goes, and you're like so confused. You literally have no idea like what is happening to you. You feel like you're possessed, really, at times. And the one thing, and this goes for men as well, because men go through this in different ways. And I think regardless of the situation, whether it's a man or a woman, you have to respect the other person's feelings. You may not agree with them, but you can agree to disagree, but don't tell anybody that their feelings are not valid, especially when they're going through this, because as women, we're navigating a whole bunch of different things at the same time. We have hair loss, we have brain fog, we have weight gain. There's the self-image, there's the depression factor, there's, you look at your friends who might be thinner than you, and you're like, why can't I look like that? And no matter how hard you try to lose the weight, it's not coming off, and that gets you depressed because you start comparing yourselves. And just ask, what can I do to support you? And I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. You know, and it's hard because, life happens, and, good things happen, bad things happen, and people get into fights about stuff. But don't necessarily pick an argument. If you see that we are not in a good mood, if you see that we're tired, don't say things, to egg us on. Just let us be for a little bit. If we ask you to stop, just stop. Even that includes breathing. If you need to stop breathing, or just go outside, go to another room, just so we don't hear you. Anything. Gia, what do you have to add about that? What do you have to add? I mean, I don't really know what else.
I do want to just kind of revert back really quickly and just say that a lot of times, a lot of these symptoms, tired and weight gain and things like that, are just your thyroid being a hair off. And like Kris said, you see a specialist, or dig around and find the right specialist for you, the right endocrinologist, or maybe you're going to, whatever doctor that you're going to. Just make sure that you're digging, like Kris said, and if you feel like something's not right, then don't stop until you get an answer. But yeah, I think that, of course, we don't want to be antagonized. And look, you could say that about men don't want to be antagonized either, right? They're going through moods, but they're reacting to the way we're acting. So you have to stop for a second, and I'm over here flipping out, and then I have to stop. And I mean, I'm so lucky to have someone that just goes, "Hun, okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. Just take a breath." Not patronizing me and, yelling at me or whatever. And I think that, there comes a point where we have to be accountable. We can't control what our emotions are from 1 minute to the next right now. And I think was it last week? I think Scott was working and I'm watching TV at home, and all of a sudden I don't cry. I don't cry. And I'm crying. And I'm like, God. And he texts me. He's like, "Oh, hey babe, how's the day going?" I'm like, I don't know, having a moment, I guess. But, we do have to be accountable enough to, even when we're feeling out of control and we're feeling angry enough, right? Don't you agree that we have to be like, okay, we are adults. We need to rein it in, walk away, do what we need to do. But at the same time, yes, please don't push the buttons, because that's when you find us on the ID channel.
Right.
Yeah, the criminal murders that happened.
I'm surprised I'm not on there yet. But with that being said, I think communication, if you're in a relationship, you have to communicate. You have to communicate. You do. You have to, say, because, and don't, please, dear God, don't communicate over text. Just do it, because texts get all misconstrued and all sorts of things happen. And next thing you know, you're at World War III with someone and it was just a stupid, simple comment. Talk to your partner, you know, talk to them, have an open conversation about it, because they will sympathize with you. They will help you, but be open about it, and don't blame the guy for every little thing. You have to, like Gia said, you have to be accountable for your own behavior and your own actions. You may not
Yes,
understand what you're
women,
going
don't
through.
blame the guy.
Right. Don't blame the guy. But just say to them, look, hon, I really, I'm going through this. I don't understand what I'm feeling. I don't understand why it's happening. This is how I feel. This is what I'm experiencing right now. And I guarantee you, the guy will listen, but don't do it with an attitude. Don't do it by being nasty. Just sit down and calmly say, this is what is happening. I don't know how to navigate this. This is all new to me. Don't freak out and blame the guy, because it's not their fault.
That's actually very good wording, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of times when anybody is emotional, they have a habit of saying stuff that's very entitled, and right off the bat, that sparks something that gets an argument going. So I feel like that way that you just worded it was the best way, because a lot of times you'll hear, I just feel this way and I'm allowed to feel this way. This is what happens to women, and I'm a woman who's changing. Okay. Most guys or most people who love you want to support you, like you guys are saying. But what they also want to do is they want to be heard.
Right.
It is a two-way street, because it is a very big thing. And, men need to be heard too. They're not going to sit
Because,
on the couch and cry. They're going to internalize it, because they don't have a vagina. They have a penis, and that's what men do. So that's a
look at
little
it
bit of
this way.
advice from the guy in the room,
Right. Look at it this way. If you as a woman don't understand what you're going through, how the hell do you expect your male partner to understand if you do not communicate? This is all just this is just a natural progression with women as we get older. It is not the guy's fault. The guy did not cause this, even though it is called menopause. Who the hell came up with that name? I'll never know. But anyway, it is not their fault. It is
man.
just another part of life that we have to go through. That's why I say communication is a very big thing, because you may not be able to express how you feel, but just tell them, I have these weird feelings. I don't know if I'm angry or sad or happy or just blah. Like, I really don't know how I feel today. I know I'm tired. I have a headache. I don't understand why. Just express it as best as you can, but don't blame them. Do your best to try not to take it out on them, because, they're just innocent most of the time. And, and I know we like to think that men are our punching bags, especially during all of this. And, but that's not fair to the guy. It's not fair to the guy. So, just try and be mindful. What the hell word was that? Mindful and respectful. And like Gia said, take accountability for your own actions. Try and keep it in check as much as you can. And if you can't, at least explain to the guy why you're freaking out.
Yeah, we like to know, at least.
There is one thing that we didn't really even touch on that I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't say it. Statistically speaking, women will lose their sex drive and their desire to have sex. And from what I've read, they say that is all part of going through menopause. But there are some other things that are very important that I feel like we should touch on, because as there may be women out there who, don't really know much. I don't know. I feel like everything's pretty readily available on the internet, but hey, if it's that apparently sex could be painful, and that is not okay, and you need to be contacting your doctor immediately. And I just feel like I need somebody to hear that, because I've read that and that seemed alarming to me. And I feel like somebody needs to hear that.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, coincidentally enough, Gia, the article I read, men actually lose their sex drive because they're afraid that they're having sex with the woman who's possessed by the devil. So I just wanted to say that real quick. Sorry. Muppets.
My God, you are a Muppet.
No. Well, listen, I guess we should probably wrap it up, guys, and start saying our goodbyes here.
Well, I'll go first on this because I
ahead.
do want to point this out that the Office of Women's Health Helpline in the state of New Jersey is there to answer questions for women who are experiencing menopause and aren't getting the help that they need. And the number for the helpline is 1-800-994-9662. Again, it's 1-800-994-9662. There, I contributed.
And I
Thanks.
will say that while
Chris, any
none of
final
us
words from
are,
you?
yeah, while none of us are doctors or medical professionals, although we do like to play one on a podcast, if you are too embarrassed to bring anything up with your doctor or, with your significant other and you want to talk to somebody, please reach out to us. We will talk to you. We will help you navigate as best as we can. If there's something you want to ask us, please put it in an email, kgjmedia@gmail.com. Send us an email and we will do some research for you and we will help you navigate through this as much and as best as we can to our ability. But definitely make sure you keep up with going to the doctor, getting your answers and, getting every test done that you need to get done. Because we're at that age now where all of this stuff needs to happen, colonoscopies and mammograms and anything else. Just stay on top of it because we just want everyone to be at their healthiest.
So thanks, Chris. Having said that, I'm going to wrap it up real fast. Please, any questions, reach out to your physician. And again, like Chris said, if you need anything, we are always here. We want to help everyone. So reach out to us. You can reach out to us on social media. Menopause, it's a thing, but we can navigate through it. So again, make sure you reach out to your doctor. If you need help, just rewind 3 times, 25 seconds, and you can hear Jay repeat that number all over again. We thank you so much for listening. We are 3 friends and all the things. We'll be back again next week. Take care until then.
Thanks for listening to the show. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. See you next time on 3 Friends and All the Things podcast. Real talk, real people. New episodes drop every week, so hit follow, leave a review, and tell your messiest friend to listen to. You know the one I'm talking about. Until next time, keep it real, keep it loud, and keep doing all the things.